A little after 5 o'clock, the news started trickling in that there were some big happenings involving the Eddie Tipton and the Iowa Lottery and the lottery in general case. And with that in mind, we brought the CEO of the Iowa Lottery, Terry Rich, in studio with us. And Terry, first of all, thank you. I know you've been inundated with requests from all kinds of media, and you were kind enough to show up here this morning. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And
yeah, you usually see me as bright, shiny, having fun, laughing, and all that, and all of a sudden we start talking a little bit more serious because this is somebody's life. This is a trial, and a case is a pretty crazy deal.
But you're finally able to talk, because you've been on our program many times talking about the wonderful promotions of Iowa Lottery and things like that, but you're like, I'm not allowed to say anything at this time.
I can at least report what happened yesterday, because it started in Wisconsin. Eddie Tipton had a brother named Tommy Tipton, who grew up in Texas with him, and a friend named Robert Rhodes. And this case involved those three. Those were the ones that had charges against rigging a lottery in 5 different states. And long story short, yesterday, Eddie, which was the starter, the person who everybody believed had done this, pleaded guilty in Wisconsin. And with that, lots of press here. And that's a big deal, because he is now scheduled for a plea hearing, I believe, in late June. His attorney, Dean Stowers, has done a good job defending him, and it appears that he may do the same kind of plea deal here, as we hear from the Attorney General's office. So that would be up to 25 years, as the Des Moines Register reported this morning. And,
yeah, front page of the Register, yeah.
It's a whole different feeling, because this is 6 years, and I think of all the trials that you hear about and that goes to jury.
Right.
Even when it's done, you kind of say, somebody might say, well, did it happen? Didn't it happen? But when you actually get a confession and a guilty plea, that says it's finite. It did happen. But there's a couple more proceedings. I don't want to step ahead of what a judge made. Judge has to agree to all of this, and we want to make sure, especially as long and hard as we've been working this, we want to make sure that the legal process is finalized and that we don't step in any of that.
So what does this mean to people here in Iowa?
What does it mean to people in Iowa? I think it means that and what we found is that people want to know that the game's fair and honest. And oh my God, if I could say anything, the Attorney General, the governor, and the lieutenant governor, every time we'd go in and say, hey, the lottery found this and we're investigating, we want to get it to the DCI, they would say, I don't care about the money, because money helps a lot of projects in Iowa.
Right.
We want it fair and honest, and spend any amount of money you need to, and do whatever you can to the ends of the earth, find out how this happened, and fix it. And that's exactly what we did. We had that done 4 or 5 years ago, but
right.
The wheels of justice, which we respect, will now continue, and we think we're just a couple of steps away from the absolute finale of this deal.
Because he has to. One of the plea bargains of doing this was that he has to come back to Iowa and
explain
exactly what he did.
Yeah, and it's important, I think, in the judicial process to let the judge has to ask the questions. Are you doing this of your own free will? All of those sort of questions are asked in an open court of law. And then, and my understanding is, I say Iowa, probably Rob Sand, will get a chance to ask any questions, and we have lots of questions. We think we know all of the things.
I was going to say, do you have an idea of what he did, or do you still have
We're 99.9% sure exactly how he did. I mean, if we didn't have that evidence figured out, I don't think he would have be talking about the plea, I think,
Gotcha.
and his attorneys. But we'll see how that all plays out, but I think there are a few questions we want to ask, and
so when will this all be final? Because this is not the final chapter in this, but we're close, right?
We're so close. I'd say within the next 2 months. And at the time we're final, if the plea happens and he's sentenced, our plan is to have a full press conference and just open it up and spend 10 hours if we need to and tell the entire story and everything with it. Because I'm a true believer as a state agency, as a public official, that everything should be as transparent as possible. And there are so many stories that lend to how it was done, why it was done, to just the craziness of getting us there. Because this thing started off, we have to be very careful to only state facts when we get in front of a camera like this.
Right.
And initially people thought, oh, this guy is dead. He must have been a mafia guy, and he picked it up and got lucky. He was money laundering. You get all these stories. Other people on the internet were saying, oh no, it's sold on the internet. It must be somebody in Europe. And we never, we only wanted to do facts. So there's a lot of really fun stories. We're probably only 10% into the stories that how this thing all came together, and I'm sure Eddie's side too will be told at some point, and that'll complete it. It's going to be a heck
Now,
of a
once
deal.
this is all done, once everything is final and the sentencing is complete and you're able to answer these questions, you're going to have some very interesting stories to tell, aren't
There
you?
are a lot of stories.
Is there any you could tell now?
Okay, I can tell one now because this didn't appeal to the deal. There's just little things like when we first, the folks from New York came in and gave it to the local lawyers and said, bring the ticket in. Hour and a half before the ticket was to expire, ding, 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 there's something screwy here.
Yeah.
We bring in, and as soon as we got the ticket, within an hour, we can tell that's the exact ticket. We got all the security measures with that little piece of paper you have when you buy a Hot Lotto or Powerball ticket.
Right.
It had it on there. So I took the ticket and said, let's go. We need a visual. So we walked in with the Des Moines lawyers, and the cameras are going all over, and I lifted the ticket and say, we have the ticket. And all of a sudden, I saw all these zoom lenses go, and they're taking pictures of it. And I'm thinking, oh no, because for the last 6 months, we had people call and say, hey, a female would call. I bought that ticket. Well, when you see the video, we had the video, we knew it was a man.
Right.
Somebody'd call and say, hey, was it a quick pick? Was it a manual play? What was the serial number on? We had all these questions we could ask them, and we knew by the video whether they were lying, and everybody would not, didn't have all the information we needed. But as soon as I went like that, every one of them had all the information that we asked about.
Nice, Terry.
Because today we have high definition cameras, and the newspaper had this blow up of the
Yeah,
ticket,
yeah.
all the TV stations. So that it's a little. We had all the evidence we needed anyway down the road.
Yeah.
But that's one I would not show the ticket again once we have it until after the trial.
Makes sense. Well, you're learning lots of things, and you're going to continue to learn a lot
That's
more.
the bottom line. Anytime there's things like this, you adjust, and obviously, every day you open your computer, someone's trying to hack you, right?
Right.
Same thing with us. We've got to stay ahead of the criminals, and so every day we're looking for new ways. So we're six years away from this. The attorneys and the justice system is handling Eddie today. I'm looking at what's happening today and making sure that we're safe and honest, and back to what the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general kept saying, make sure the games are fair and honest. That's my job, and I'll do my darndest to do that.
You guys are doing
right.
a great job, too. I know you're
Appreciate
jumping
it.
on an airplane going somewhere else to talk about this, but thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
in this morning.
you bet.
Thank,
Thank
you,
you, Terry.
Rich,
Great
a
to
pleasure.
see you.
CEO of the Iowa Lottery, with the answer as to what it really means to us right here in Iowa. Thank you so much. When we come back, round the car, guys.
Round the car, guys.
You're going to stick around for that. Terry's going to stick around. He's got a car problem he's going to ask Terry about, too. And then an engine dude's going to be in here, too. If you have engine problems, that's next on CW Iowa Live.